My name is Tom from Pacific Products Corporation, home of the LeakChek Pro, the automated leak down tester. We have two models available. The pressure model, which injects pressurized air through a spark plug hole that'll test either heads or assembled engines, even in vehicles. The vacuum model tests across three different locations. We can test across the combustion chamber or through a spark plug hole. We can check across the intake and exhaust ports, or we can test across individual valves. The LeakChek Pro is fast. Testing this 4-cylinder head takes only 40 to 50 seconds. Now let's slow down to see the details of the testing procedure. This is a demonstration of our pressure model. Pressurized shop air enters here. The air should be clean and filtered to prevent contamination of the internal mechanisms. An internal regulator adjusts the test pressure, and the test probe attaches here. On the back panel of the control unit, there's an AC line cord and also a rocker switch to turn the unit on and off. When power is turned on, the sign-on screen appears. At the bottom of the sign-on screen, we're prompted to press any key to continue. Now a self-test runs. The self-test checks the internal memory, it checks the program, it checks calibration, and it checks the circuitry. This is the ready screen. All the tests begin from the ready screen. We have an extensive manual that details the operation of the LeakChek Pro, but just reading the screen prompts you all along the way. Press Start to begin test. Enter Test ID. Test ID can be a work order number, a customer name, customer number, model number, serial number, or anything of that nature. If we don't want to take the time to enter that information, we simply press Done, and an automatically generated sequential number appears. In this case, LCP 000009. The next one would be 10, 11, 12, and so forth. We press Done. Set the number of cylinders. We can increment up to 12 cylinders. We can decrement down to 1 cylinder. We have a 4-cylinder head. We'll set it to 4. Press Accept. We're prompted to put the probe into cylinder number 1. It automatically detects when we pull the trigger and starts the test, and beeps when the test is done. 0.0, that's a good one. At this point we can either accept that answer or we can retest it. Since it's a good result, we'll accept it. Cylinder number 2. .5, again that's a good one. We'll accept it. Cylinder number 3. That's not such a good one. 37.7%. In this case, we might want to retest it to verify that we had the probe properly seated or something else may have gone wrong with the test. We can retest as many times as we want until we convince ourselves that we have the right numbers. Because we're using pressure, we can detect which valve is actually leaking. Simply go into the spark plug hole, pull the trigger, and put our finger inside the exhaust port and the intake port. This is the leak. I can feel the air blowing. In this case, we know that this is a bad cylinder, so we'll accept it. Number 4. .0. That's another good one. Press accept. Now it stores that test data internally in the processor. The last 35 tests are stored internally. When number 36 comes in, number 1 gets thrown out. When number 37 comes in, number 2 gets thrown out. This way we can review any of the previous 35 tests and print out the results. We press print. And here's the results. Your company name and phone number appear at the top. The test ID, the sequential number that we entered, appears here. The day, the date, the time. Here's the 4 cylinder numbers. Here's the data for each cylinder. 37.7, that was our bad one. We can keep one copy for our records, press the print button again and generate another printout, and send that along with the work order to our customer as proof of our work. Now we press exit, and we're back to the ready mode, ready for the next test. If we go straight through the test without pausing, a typical 4-cylinder head takes 30 to 40 seconds. The pressure model can test not only cylinder heads, but also assembled engines, even in vehicle. All we do is set the cylinder to top dead center, put the probe into the spark plug hole, just as we did before, and make the measurement. Of course, the numbers could be somewhat higher than they would be for just a cylinder head, because we have more sources of error, not only the valves, but also the rings and possibly a head gasket. And because we're using pressure, we can determine which one it is. If we hear hissing at the exhaust, it's an exhaust valve. If we hear it at the intake, it's an intake valve. If we see bubbles in the coolant or feel pressure at an adjacent spark plug hole, it may be a head gasket. If you have any questions or need more information, you can call us at 800-918-6412 or go to our website at www.leakchekpro.com. That's LeakChekpro.com.